Hey everybody, my name is Mike O'Malley. How you doing? I know there's probably some folks already here for the Glee panel, but when I'm not playing Bert Hummel for the last 3 years, I've been a writer on Shameless, and I'm so happy to be here right now. And we've got a great panel here for you today. We're interested in getting to your questions, but I really want to thank you all for being here because, you know, the fans are so important to the success of Shameless, and we're doing great. We just started on our 3rd season. We started production last week, and just want to thank you for being here today and supporting us. John Wells, who is our boss over there at Shameless, he, for years and years, had tried to get Shameless on the air. Shameless started as a series in the UK created by Paul Abbott, and John, for a long time, had tried to adapt it into an American version, and it was very difficult for him to get it going, but it became much easier once one man decided to do the show. Please give a warm welcome to Frank Gallagher, William H. Macy. Come on out, Bill, come on out. A man who started as Steve and then found out his real name was Jimmy. He's also here. Please welcome Justin Chatwin. He started on the show when he was 17. He plays Lip Gallagher. Please give a warm welcome to Jeremy Allen White. Also growing up on camera and on the show is our lovely Ian Gallagher, Cameron Monaghan. Where are you, Cameron? And, of course, there would be no Gallagher family without the glue. Please give a warm welcome to Fiona Gallagher, Miss Emmy Rossum. We welcome your questions. We love to get feedback and questions from our fans, so we're going to get to that in a second. I want to remind all of our panelists that these microphones, you got to speak right into the microphone, or they won't be able to get any of your lovely vocal quality. But I want to start by asking Bill Macy a question. And Bill, you know, you decided to do this show a couple years ago, and now it's evolved into something that's gone on now. We're now into our 3rd season, so we're about 25 episodes in. How has it changed? You know, you've done a lot of theater, you've done a ton of movies, though you had done some episodic television. It was a little bit here, a little bit there, little arcs on shows or recurring characters. It was a big choice for you to take on a show and to that commitment. And what has that been like? Has it evolved in the way that you thought it would?
To use a theater analogy, we opened well. We've gotten past the 2nd night, and now the stretch lay before us. I'm having more fun than I've ever had standing up. This is a great job. I love the cast. The writing is consistently good. I love getting to revisit the character. I love my trailer. I hung pictures. I love everyone, but especially you. That's a song.
Emmy,
his trailer's bigger than mine.
Emmy, how about for you? You know, this role was I don't want to say it was a departure because you've always been capable of doing this kind of work, but you took on a role that was maybe a little bit more raw than you'd had in the past. How has it evolved for you? Is it what you thought it would be like? Have you been challenged in a way that you didn't think that you would be?
Yeah, on a number of levels. I mean, in terms of the nature of the lengths that these characters will go to support their family. On an emotional level, the characters are trying. The relationship that I definitely have with my brothers and definitely with Bill challenges me on a daily basis to bring truth to that. You know, it's interesting being here at Comic-Con because just at something that we were doing a signing earlier, a woman came up to me and said, I know that you guys probably didn't grow up like this, but I did. So thank you for, and I said, I'm so sorry. And she said, thank you for making that real. You had a couple moments last year, the Gallaghers, where we thought, look at the lengths that you'll go to save each other and to put your, excuse me, there it says here that they're people under the age of 18, so I should watch my language, put your butt on the line for each other. And she said you did that in a really realistic way. And it really touched me and made me feel like we are creating something that's entertainment, but we're also bringing our hearts and souls to it. And thank you for writing us good episodes, one of our writers.
This guy can write.
Oh, thank you. It's a fun show to write for, and what's great about writing for the show is that the actors are so great. You know that they can turn, and the material that you give them, they can really invest those characters with authenticity and heart and humor. You know, it's interesting sometimes when you're writing episodes, you have to really kind of lay it out what the emotional beat is going to be, and almost without fail, these actors already know it without you needing to, you know, tell them what it is. It's really awesome to watch them work on set when we're allowed on set, which isn't often. But Justin, you know, I have to say, what's been really interesting about writing for you and also watching you act on the show is the level of intimacy and the heart that you and Fiona share with one another. I think what we found in the middle of the second season when we realized, well, his name's not really Steve, it's Jimmy, and he's got a different identity, and he's been lying not only to himself but to the Gallagher family. Can you talk a little bit about what it's like to be an actor and not really know what's going on with your character and what's coming up next, and then to get that script and be surprised yourself?
Yeah. You know, normally when you get, if you work on a play or you work on a movie, you get to read it, you know, so many times, and you know the character inside out, you know what's going to happen, you plan. But with this show, it was different because in the first season, it was literally day by day I was finding out a new thing about my character. And then at a certain point, all of a sudden, I was Jimmy. All of a sudden, I came from a wealthy family. All of a sudden, there was a whole backstory that I didn't quite plan. So as it evolves, it was definitely a challenge for me to kind of change and grow with that, but that's, I guess, what I love about this job is being able to come to work and learn something new about your character or find a new dynamic. And I guess for me, it's like that is life. Life is you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. You don't know what new information you're going to find out about yourself. And for me, it's fun going to set and I can't wait to get the next episode and read it. I mean, I think we all sneak it from the makeup trailer and can't wait to read the next episode. And seeing what these guys are going to write, seeing how much nudity I'm going to have in the next episode.
Well,
I've worn clothes in about 3 scenes so far, and we're in episode 3.
Well, one of the things that the fans have really responded to is that romance between the two of you. And we have a clip about when you told Fiona that you loved her for the first time. Can we roll that clip? And for those of them who haven't seen it, or maybe they've seen it already once before. Yeah.
Hello?
If that wasn't bullshit, what was I wearing?
Huh?
First time you saw me, if that wasn't a lie.
Black top with gold trim, black shiny jeans, thin shoes, straps, dangly gold earrings that made me smile.
A big watch, too big, so it slid up your arm, but it looked great.
And you were dancing next to a red-haired girl in a green dress.
Yeah, Jenna. So you're watching her? Was a lot better looking than me.
You think so? Really?
Yeah, so how come you're not stalking Jenna?
Because you think like that and Jenna doesn't.
Jenna dances for an audience. You dance like there's no one else in the room. Your life's not simple, Fiona, and you can't stop it from showing because you're no fake. You're not lost. You don't need finding. I swear, Fiona, you're nothing like anyone I've ever met. You make me want to enjoy my life again.
Wow. Hey.
We actually look like we like each other.
Acting.
It's like, I mean, that's why we're at Comic-Con. That's like superhero boyfriend stuff. I mean, who can remember things like that? Only a superhero could remember things with that level of specificity. But that's the writing of John Wells and Paul Abbott and Mark Mylod, who directed that. They do such a great job of really creating this world where these actors and writers can shine. Bill, you're kind of the arch villain in this family.
What?
Yet you're somebody who they keep welcoming back, and I think it's a challenge in writing the show, but it's helped by your portrayal of Frank. What are some of the obstacles as an actor that you have to make sure you don't, the pitfalls that you don't fall into, so that you can continue to make him charming and so that they open the door when he walks in? Because you've slept with one of your son's girlfriends, you've headbutted and busted the nose of one of your other sons, and you've ransomed another one of your sons. I mean, but yet they keep welcoming you back.
Other than that, I'm a pretty good father. I think people are attracted to people who are striving and working for something, no matter how heinous that goal might be. I think people are attracted to people who see irony and have a sense of humor. And no matter what you say about Frank, he's got joie de vivre. And, it's funny we like to say drug addiction and alcoholism is not funny. But it really is sometimes. It's really funny sometimes.
Yes, exactly. How many people out there have had fun nights when they're on drugs or alcohol? All right, plenty of people. Well, woo, drugs and alcohol. All right.
I'm sorry, could you raise your hands one more time?
Jeremy, you are, as all our cast, you're just a wonderful actor, and we love to write for you because we know that you can pretty much handle anything we deliver down to you. When you first got this role, you were 17 years old, and you had just gotten out of the high school for the performing arts, the famous Fame High School, where I know there's no singing and dancing on Shameless, but there is such depth that you bring to Lip. How has this role, how has this job, how did that school prepare you for it, and how has it been surprising or not what you could have been prepared for working on Shameless?
I don't know. I mean, I feel I was, very lucky with my schooling. I had great teachers, and I worked very hard at it. And then, taking another step into something like Shameless is just, being around not just, one or two people I can learn from, but, I can learn from everyone around me. I'm just surrounded by talented people, whether they be, actors or writers or set deck or, really anything. And so I think the just experience being surrounded by these people and having such professionalism and talent around me at all times has helped me grow an enormous amount, and also makes me very scared to see what else is out there. I just hope it can all be as kind of lovely as what we have going on here.
Well, particularly in the relationship between Frank and Lip, which is so hard to top, Paul Abbott came up with a great moment where, as a gesture of asking for forgiveness at the end of season 1, why don't we watch the clip, and then we'll talk to Bill and you a little bit about that moment and shooting that moment. So this is Frank Gallagher begging for forgiveness for sleeping with his son's girlfriend.
The Bible says it is blessed to forgive, son. And that forgiveness is the first step on the stairway to heaven. We're both victims. How can I ever really say I'm sorry? What the
Fair enough.
All right. That is real Chicago snow. That is real Chicago cold. Talk to us about that night, Bill.
Remember the blizzard in Chicago? That's the night I decided to get pissed on. It was technically tough. I had a bunch of lines, and every time we did a new take, I had to run in a house and put hair dryers on me, change clothes, and dry off. So it wasn't a time for screw up with the lines or actor problems. So I prepared it well. I knew exactly what the objective was, and I knew the lines well so that I could really rock and roll it. And then finally, after we'd gotten all that down, it was time to do the waterworks. And as you started to piss on me, I realized, oh, I prepared everything except, what do you do when someone's peeing on your head? I hadn't thought about that, so I laughed. That's my story. I'm sticking with it.
All right. Jeremy, that was like a 9-beer whiz. I mean, that was obviously a prosthetic that you had up there, or?
Yes, it was, yes. I had a prosthetic, I think actually only one of the shots that made it in the TV show was actually in Chicago. The rest was in Los Angeles. It's the Wizinator. Yeah, we used one on episode 2 a couple days ago.
That's a technical term.
The Wizinator.
The Wizinator.
But such a cool moment. I remember I had seen the English series when I was auditioning for the show, and I mean, I guess our first season is similar to the first series of the English show in a lot of ways, but that was one of the things that I thought was just so beautiful in a way, and just so cool when Frank kind of sticks his head out of the pee and then puts his head right back in. He's I think it's the sorriest that we'd seen Frank at that point, and I think it was a very strong moment for him.
Some other strong moments that we've had between Frank and his kids have been with this guy right here, Ian, played by Cameron Monaghan. Cameron, you also have come of age on this show. You were 16 years old when you started on the show, and what I've been amazed by is your ability to embrace this character with the storyline that you might not have expected. And as he's coming to terms with what his sexuality is, more and more as you get older as an actor, we're able to portray more complex scenes, more complex stuff. Can you talk a little bit about your acceptance of the role, your reluctance to maybe do the role or not, your embrace of that role? What has that been like?
Well, it's funny that the fact that Ian is gay comes up so often in interviews, because I actually forget a lot of the times that he's gay. It's so not important to me. Yeah, you can, sure. And it's funny because every time I do an interview, I feel like I kind of have to come out as straight to the audience. I definitely grew into it, and I think we all did it in a certain way, but Ian is a complex guy. He's got a lot to deal with. And I think it's less important to think about his sexuality and more important to think about the emotion and stress that he's going through, just like any of these other characters.
Yes. And I think what's been difficult for him is that he lives in a community where he's afraid to admit who he truly is. And so that's one of the things that is a challenge about writing it, is that he's proud of who he is to himself. He knows that it is who he is. Yet he also understands he lives in a world in which some people, certainly his primary lover in this series, Mickey, is completely embarrassed about who he is at the core, and that it comes up for people. But you add such grace to it, Are you also surprised with each turn that happens? That, were you surprised last year when Frank, and Bill, you could talk about this too, when Frank really didn't have any reaction whatsoever and was actually quite accepting of who you were?
Well, I think Frank has experimented a little bit in his past, as we found out.
We're going to get to a scene that I think they added because I wrote it, and they had to have something that I wrote up here today. This is when Sheila kills Grammy, played by the beautiful Joan Cusack and Louise Fletcher.
Goodbye, Sheila.
Goodbye, Peg.
Don't pussy out on me.
Okay.
Oh. Oh. Ah.
Oh, wow. Hold on.
Oh, go into the light. Go into the light. Your sins are forgiven. Go into the light. Oh, Pal said you're sorry for being so shitty. Do it while you still have your breath. Wow, Frank, your mother's passed.
Oh, I love that moment, Bill. We've got a question from the Twitter universe, and we've got a couple of them, actually. This is for Jeremy and Cameron. When Ian and Lip were fighting, how intense was it, and did anyone get hurt during that scene?
Was it this the last season, right?
We fought a few times now.
Yeah, I know. I guess I was really sick, as I tend to get every time I go to Chicago. And you had something, didn't you? You had like a finger or something was wrong.
I think I
Like some
caught
kind
what
of
you
ailment.
had, actually.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, so you're like broke a fingernail and you got sick? I don't think that's what they're looking
and it
for
was,
right
it was
here.
miserable.
It was an intense fight scene. I got a hangnail.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I don't think either of us got hurt.
Well, we always go full out when we do the fight scenes. you know. We're not really afraid of hurting each other. I think we've gotten comfortable enough. We go home with black and blue. But we're a little bit bruised, but we survive.
All right.
Yeah.
So, Emmy, we'll start with you. Here's a question from Twitter. Is there anything on the show that legitimately shocked you about some of the Shameless situations? And I know you've got 3 scripts from this season so far. So.
Yeah, the thing that really surprised me most was last season with Butterface, when I read the episode where Frank takes the call about the heart coming in, and he says that she's already passed, and he then F's this woman to death.
She was dying anyways.
I hear you.
We're all gonna die.
I hear what you're saying.
I mean, we're all gonna die.
And I remember, like Justin said earlier, basically all the technical people, the heads of the tech departments on our show, get the scripts a couple days before we do. So we usually sneak into, Mike, don't listen to this. We sneak into the makeup trailer and we all read these scripts like they're contraband before they come in. And I remember that I was walking around set and I said to somebody, like, did you read the Butterface thing? And they were like, oh my God, yeah. So for me, it was a question about kind of how Bill was going to play that to make him, you know, you think about the show as a whole, and I knew Bill could do it, but for me, that was, there's never been an issue with Fiona doing something that I thought was unforgivable, but for me, that was very hard to read on the page and think about how that would translate, how people would respond to him.
And Bill did such a great job of playing that. I know there was much discussion as we were developing that script. Bill, is, other than that moment, any other moments for you that were legitimately shocking for you? And by the way, Bill Macy wrote an episode last year, so he wrote himself some legitimately, he's an Emmy Award-winning writer, so he's written himself some legitimately shocking things, I can tell you that much.
I'm shocked by a lot of this show. I'm older than these guys. I find the whole thing very shocking.
Justin, how about you?
Every episode shocks me. It's Shameless.
And speaking of a shocking scene that I tried to cue up from the first season, let's take a look at Debbie stealing a baby.
Why would you steal a little girl? Why would you steal a little boy and dress him like a little girl?
I wanted a girl, but there weren't any.
We need a plan to get that boy back to his family, or family services is gonna have a field day. Remember what happened last time?
All right, Carl, you know that payphone that's still outside the cash and grab?
Yeah.
All right, I want you to get on your bike, go to the payphone, call the police. Tell them that you saw a little boy walking down Southport Avenue at 2:45.
I don't have a bike.
Wire cutter's in the junk drawer.
2:45.
Yeah, 2:45.
Got a sighting. A kid saw the boy walking down Southport.
I was walking up Southport Avenue when I saw little Casey.
No, you didn't know his name.
A little boy.
Yeah.
All alone.
Veronica, I want you to go to the cleaners, ask Mrs. Bergdahl to use the phone in the back.
I saw a little boy with a Superman suit walking down Grand Avenue.
I'm sorry, Spider-Man suit?
I didn't say Spider-Man. I said Superman. He had a cape and he was walking with a little girl.
Can you describe it?
So I went to the phone outside Connie's Pizza to call the police. But I couldn't use the phone because it was broken. I was standing on the street and I asked people who were passing if I could use their phone. I said it was an emergency, but no one listened. I don't know if it was because I was young or... Oh, poor.
Okay, we're going to open it up to questions from the audience in a few moments. There's a couple more Twitter questions I want to get to, one of which
Hey, Mike,
is...
you know what, though,
Yes.
occurs to me? The reason our show works well, and I think it does work well, is not because of the shocking stuff, but because of the heart that's behind it. The writer's room is hewing that very fine line of telling outrageous stories, but telling the truth about those stories. And I think that's why our show works. It's not the outrageous stuff, it's the stuff that's so familiar. And at its core, this is about a family that looks after each other. It's about blood being thicker than water, and I think that's why our show is working so well.
Well, I agree with you, and I also agree that, you guys as actors, yes, I will applaud that. You go down to the set and they feel like such a family that it's easy for that to translate on film. A lot of people are constantly asking if Emmy will ever sing on the show.
Wait. Besides the Star Spangled Banner, which I sang in the Human Pretzel.
Yes. We don't want to necessarily... If Emmy was to sing on the show, I think I could speak for John Wells when I say this. We don't want her to be suddenly revealed to be someone who could win American Idol and actually be a really famous singer, which she already is. So we probably won't have her singing as great as she does in real life. We have one more clip, and this is, Frank lives so much of his world down at the Alibi Room where a lot of the people genuinely do like his company down there because he is a fun, charming guy who loves to get along with other people and have fun down there. But sometimes he makes some bad bets, and this is one of them.
10,000 American legal tender says you cannot get tasered twice and not soil your tighty-whities, much less keep standing.
All right, shithead.
Oh!
Do it. Do it! Again! What? Where's my 10 grand?
Where is Liam?
He's at his first sleepover.
He's 2!
They sleep a lot at that age.
We want Liam back.
Liam stays. He's collateral.
Then you better start shooting.
Hey, good to see you.
All right. I don't know where the audience microphones are, but if we've got some questions over here. Yes, let's start right over here on the right.
Hi there. I'm a big fan of the show, and I just wondered if you guys were big fans of anything or if you would geek out of any show or movie that's on these days.
I like The Office, and I like Tina Fey.
I like the show An Idiot Abroad. That makes me pee myself laughing. I love Carl Pilkington.
I love
I
The
used to
Walking
collect
Dead.
Pogs.
Wait, say that again, Justin.
Remember Pogs? The like little. Yeah. And magic cards.
He's Canadian.
I watch pretty much everything on Showtime and HBO, and AMC makes some really great stuff too. I watch all that stuff.
I have 3 children, and Phineas and Ferb is on every day at our house. To the point where on the DVR, it's like 55 new episodes of Phineas and Ferb, and you're just like, all right. Yes,
I think we're
next
in a
question.
golden age of television, personally, another golden age of television.
I agree.
There's great stuff on.
I agree. Yes.
Hi, my best friend and I, we're huge fans from Singapore. Love the show. My question is generally for the cast. There's been really emotionally heavy scenes especially when Monica comes back and Fiona's fighting Monica, when Lip and Fiona had that huge disagreement. What are some of the most emotionally challenging scenes for you guys to film?
I'll go first. You know that scene where I come in and my mother is dead? Well, as Mike scripted it, it said, Frank laughs, he cries, he goes through all the gamut of all human emotions.
I got to tell you, he was so unbelievable. There was literally a paragraph that I wrote, an entire life of his relationship with his mother that Bill had to act out, and
weeping.
We got long. That episode ended up being long.
So I
but it
turned
was
myself
amazing.
inside out for an hour and a half. I was an emotional wreck, and that's what made it.
I promise you, we will put it on a DVD. It will be a DVD extra. It was unbelievable. It was. Emmy, you have so many emotional scenes. One of the scenes that Emmy had in the second season that absolutely broke my heart was after she had slept with Craig Heiser in the back of that disgusting, with the car seat and everything. And what I love about our actors, all of them, is that they are all so brave. They get the script, they go to the set, whether they have a problem with it or not, they embrace it and do it. It's one of the most hilarious scenes in that season. But what really broke my heart was the scene where his wife comes and is chasing you all around, and you're in the bathroom by yourself, sort of, you know, look, what have I done? How have I gotten to this position? Is it hard to get that emotional stuff there?
Yeah. I mean, I think we try to do different takes where we play it at different levels, where we go all out, where we do variations of different things. And I mean, I think kind of like what Bill was saying, sometimes the most fun things are when there's no dialogue and it's a quiet scene where you're by yourself. And it's more similar. I mean, the times that I'm emotional in my life, I'm often kind of by myself thinking about whatever just happened to me that's making me feel something, and you're kind of thinking about all these things, and it's a quiet moment. And a lot of times you get to, when I'm reading the script, I can plot out all of the different things that I want to play, and then I get there and they say action and there's no dialogue, and I'm in a room by myself with 3 guys with cameras pointing at me, and I have to, you know, act out all these emotions with no one to act against. So that's definitely challenging, but you know, acting is kind of like an emotional roller coaster, and you just have to kind of hook into that channel and just ride it.
Yeah, there was that scene also last year where you and Lip were upstairs in your bedroom. What's so fun is you know, you spend time writing the episodes, but then you're watching at home, and there's stuff that you guys add in that had nothing to do with the script that are such great, authentic moments of glue between brother and sister. Did you just come up with slapping him across the head on that one scene just on your own? You were just looking at him and you banged him across the head? What was that?
I'm always doing that to him. What scene was that? Oh, doesn't it say?
Last season.
I think it says like she.
I think you hit me in it. You hit me a few times, and you probably.
And I think I
hit me
did it in
harder than you
rehearsal
should've.
too.
Yeah, you did.
I was very emotionally. I was very mad
Yeah.
at you for the idea that you were sleeping with this girl
Gotten
and
someone
might saddle me with another kid.
Yeah.
And I really whacked you.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, I mean, for Lip, it all comes down to family, whether it be, I mean, all the emotional stuff is, you know, whether it be him possibly having a child or having to turn his back on his family for a certain amount of time because of, you know, his beliefs, whether they be, you know, selfish or entitled or, you know, what have you. It's I think, for me, it comes kind of naturally, you know. For the Gallaghers, they're, you know, all they've got is their family, and those moments where, you know, we lose sight of that are really really tough, you know.
Hi, my question is for Mr. Macy. I just wanted to know if after playing Frank for a couple years, you've noticed any of his traits or tendencies pop up in your day-to-day life?
Not really. I guess the embarrassing answer is that there's always been a lot of Frank in me. I'm just really good at keeping crazy in a bottle. You know, sort of tangential to that question, one of the things I love about watching these folks act is these terrifically emotional scenes come along, and I see them dig down deep and get ready to do the scenes, but they bring what's required, they do the scene, they do it fully, and it's over. And there's none of that horse acting stuff of I can't shake it off, which is just trash. It's not true. Those actors that say that, they're lying. Oh, I'm sorry, I said horse. They're young people. It's bull is what it is. But this cast shows up. does what's needed, and then gets back to having a good time. It's so efficient and brave and ballsy. It's a primer on acting. It really is.
And to write for these guys, again, they constantly take what is on the page and lift it to a whole nother level. We're really lucky for those aspiring writers out there to work for Showtime. They're extremely supportive of this show. We have great executive producers: John Wells, Andrew Stern, Paul Abbott, Mark Mylod. These are people who really create an atmosphere where you can really thrive, but they push you too. I mean, they're relentless at trying to get to authentic moments, authentic truth, and we're so thankful for the support from Showtime. But we would not have a show were it not for you, the fans out there that support this show, that talk about it, that tweet about it, that tell your friends to watch it. What the goal of this show is to make us all feel a little bit closer in the mistakes that we make and the lives that we lead. And these guys, episode after episode, I'm just saying that's my own goal in writing the show, is that to expose a little bit of humanity, but like as Bill said, just show how these guys are fighting to try to keep this family together and be together and make things good for this family and these kids so they don't repeat the mistakes of some of the people that have come before them. And it's a thrill. I keep saying it, but it's a thrill to write for these actors. Thank you for being here today. Thank you for
folks. We love you.
Attending our
Thank you.
panel. Season 3 coming up. I want to thank Justin, Emmy, Bill, Jeremy, Cameron. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike.
We'll see you next year.